Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to mourn the loss of a great man in our community due to senseless violence. Not only was he a great man, but an even greater role model and an even better father. Today, we mourn the loss of our fallen brother, Nipsey Hussle. Today, as I speak, I will be going over some facts about his life to get you all more familiar with him. We'll go over his early life, his music career, and his life outside of music. Nipsey was born Ermias Askedon. The name Ermias actually means God will rise, which is very prevalent in his life. The name Ermias actually comes from Eritrea, a small country in Eastern Africa where his father was born and raised. Despite these strong roots to Africa, he actually grew up in the United States here with his mother. But in 2004, he took a trip with his father and his brother to Eritrea to meet not only his relatives, but to just learn about where he came from. And that's actually what drove him to become a good person in his community and give back to those who are there. Nipsey grew up in Crenshaw with his mother, where he was exposed to violence and gangs at an early age. He actually ended up being a part of the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, a small gang formed in South Los Angeles in 1976. They're often seen either wearing Chicago White Sox hats or Seattle Mariners. Music has been prevalent throughout his entire life. He actually ended up dropping out of high school to pursue his music dream after his sophomore year. He first started off by just producing some small mixtapes that he gave throughout the community to just let everybody know what he was about and how he wanted to do more with his life and become a true musician. Despite these just little mixtapes and not much exposure, he still happened to make music with the likes of Drake and YG throughout his time coming up. All of his music would change, however, when he debuted his Crenshaw mixtape, which he sold at $100 a pop. He would have an unlikely buyer who you probably didn't expect in Jay-Z. When Jay-Z said, "I respect your hustle, little homie, I like what you're doing here. Let me get 100 of those." So Jay-Z then sent him $10,000 and Nipsey sent him the mixtapes. Nipsey debuted his first debut studio album, Victory Lane, in 2018, where he was nominated for Best Rap Album at the Grammys, and an award in which he would ultimately lose to Cardi B. Don't ask me how that happened. Nipsey has two kids. He has a daughter named Amani, which he has with a previous girlfriend named Tanisha. He has a younger son named Cross, who was birthed by his current girlfriend, Lauren London. But in his community is where Nipsey shines the most. He has a clothing store called Marathon Clothing, which is in the heart of Los Angeles, actually where he was shot outside of. He was working on a project called Vector 90, which was aimed at the kids in the community to give them opportunities to go do more. Working with children was something that Nipsey took a lot of pride in and made sure he would get done throughout his life. Let's recap on what we talked about here today. Nipsey is a strong man with even stronger African roots. Music has played the biggest part in his life for a long time, and he has a strong support system mourning him and everything that he stood for. I'd like to thank you for gathering here today and mourning the loss of my brother. And just know from now on, we got to stop the violence.